Lucia, a name that over 225 million people have heard, and yet nobody knows anything about her. Well, that's not strictly true. We of course know that she goes to prison. However, that's literally it. We know nothing else about Lucia, and in today's video, I want to change that. I'm going to give you some of my theories about Lucia, her story, where she comes from, and what I hope to see from her in GTA 6. However, before I begin, I would like to say thank you all for the support on the last 2 videos that I've released. I know they were a while ago, but I'm excited to get this train up and running again as we get closer to the launch. So yeah, I promise you, consistent uploads coming soon. Anyway, let's get into the theories. Okay, so this first idea is one that I've seen everywhere. A lot of people seem to believe that this is going to happen. It's the idea that a part of Lucia's backstory will involve her having a child, and one that she probably abandons during a robbery. Before I delve deeper into this theory, let me tell you where it actually comes from. A couple of months before Trailer 1 released, a user posted to Reddit claiming that they had some story details about GTA 6. They correctly said that Lucia will be in prison, amongst other small details that we proved in Trailer 1. In this post, they also claim that Lucia has a child which she abandons during the start of the story. I don't tend to believe in leaks like this because I think that the chances of them being true are very, very small. However, it is important to remember that technically this could be true, so I just wanted to give you a heads up before moving forward. Anyway, what do I think of this theory? I actually think it's quite possible. Why? Well, simply because Rockstar had a similar idea in the past, but never went through with it. The original plan for Arthur Morgan's character in Red Dead Redemption 2 was that his infant son Isaac would freeze to death at the start of Chapter 1. And because we've all, hopefully, played Red Dead Redemption 2 before, we know that this never ended up happening. My thinking is that maybe Rockstar really liked this idea, but thought that it didn't really fit Arthur's character and the story they were going for in Red Dead Redemption 2, but maybe they thought that, this is a really good idea that we can definitely use someday, just not for Arthur Morgan, and instead repurposed it for Lucia. Honestly, I love the sound of this idea. I think it is incredible. I think it would be such a great way to open the story. It would raise the stakes to an insane degree, and it would really give Lucia's character so much purpose right off the bat. And there are just so many different directions that the story can go from here. It could be a story about Lucia trying to get her child back. It could be a story about Lucia's guilt and how she feels responsible for what happened to this child. There are just so many different dynamics that can form off the back of this very, very powerful introduction to a main story that I just think would be incredibly powerful and interesting. So I really hope that this happens. Whether the leak is true or not, I very much doubt it, but that doesn't mean that Rockstar can't take some liberty here and do it anyway, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on, the second theory that I have for you all today is that Lucia is some sort of hacker. Now, before you all go off on me and say, what is this, Watch Dogs 4? Thankfully, no, and this is instead based on some evidence that we saw in the leaked footage from 2022. In a few of the leaked clips, we can see some items in Lucia's inventory which are very, very interesting to me. These include a tracker jammer, a USB drive, and an immobilizer bypass. These items suggest that Lucia is going to have some sort of hacking ability, which if you ask me is extremely exciting because it will allow us to experience some gameplay mechanics which we've never seen in a GTA game before. For example, imagine trying to escape from the police, but the only way to lose your wanted level is to deploy a tracker jammer because they've somehow managed to track the GPS location on Lucia's phone. To me, this sounds absolutely incredible. And it really does just emphasize to me just how revolutionary this game is going to be for Rockstar and for the industry as a whole. These mechanics, if implemented correctly, could just completely change the entire notion of what a GTA game is. The amount of freedom and expression of choice that we could get in this game is unparalleled, and I cannot wait to play it later this year. Anyway, I promise you that was not an outro. Even though it sounded like one. The next idea in regards to Lucia's character is that she's more experienced than Jason when it comes to crime, and she's sort of the one who propels him forward and gets him involved in this new life of his. From the trailer alone, it's obvious to me that Lucia is the one who has control over most of the situations that Jason and Lucia get into. For example, during the trailer, she's the one who's giving the monologue about trusting each other and being a team. She also kicks the door down during the robbery and walks in front of Jason. If there's one thing the Rockstar knows how to do, it's market their games. And in my opinion, they've included these shots to establish to us, the audience, that Lucia is a commanding presence in their relationship. She's probably the one who gets her and Jason into trouble and potentially out of trouble. I think that this potential dynamic between Lucia and Jason is very exciting. Having Lucia be the more experienced and more calculated protagonist, and then you have Jason who kind of just follows her lead and maybe gets himself into situations he wouldn't have been in if he hadn't have met Lucia, is very interesting. Maybe it leads to some conflict where Jason disagrees with Lucia's approach to some certain situations. There's just so many different ways that they can go with their relationship, and I think that having Lucia be the more experienced and calculated protagonist is just a very good idea, and I really hope that they do it. If you're still watching at this point in the video, thank you very much. Please subscribe. Thank you. Up next, I want to talk about something very interesting in relation to Lucia's actress. Unless you've been living under a rock for the past year, you'll know that Lucia is going to be played by Maniel Perez, who appears to be not only a very talented actress, but a skilled fighter. She's very athletic and is trained in multiple martial arts, which in my opinion is very cool, and I'd be very surprised if Rockstar didn't somehow incorporate this into GTA 6. Of course, alongside being the voice of Lucia, she also does the motion capture, and I can see them incorporating her fighting skills into the game. It could explain how she's able to take on huge opponents in melee combat, because in the trailer there are some very big guys in there, and I assume we're going to be able to beat them up. However, I'd also like to add that GTA isn't a realistic game. In GTA 5, we have Michael DeSanta, who is quite clearly very old and overweight, being able to take on these huge dudes as well. So this isn't a huge thing, and I don't want to seem like I'm one of those people being like, Lucia's a woman, she can't do this is so unrealistic, because quite frankly, who cares? It's GTA, it's a fun game, but if Rockstar were to incorporate some sort of explanation, this should be perfect, because Maniel Perez seems to be a complete badass, so I can't wait to see how they incorporate her into the game. Theory number 6, I can't even remember what one we're on now, I'm just full of ideas. I've saved the best till last, and by best I mean the most schizophrenic you can imagine, and that's the theory that Lucia is actually Luis Lopez's niece. Bom bom bom, I know you're thinking, what? How is this possible? How could you make this connection? Are you a racist? Do you see two Hispanic people and think, they must be related? No, I promise you, there's a good reason for it. Kind of, just hear me out. In the Ballad of Gay Tony, Luis Lopez offhandedly mentions that he has a niece.
Okay. Only because my niece loves those irritating little eunuchs.
We never learn her name, where she comes from, or anything about her. And here's where it gets interesting. Lucia's actress and the actor for Louise used to follow each other on Instagram. And yes, that is the entire theory. The idea that Louise moved to Vice City or Leonida where his niece, Lucia, lived. Do I think this is going to happen? Maybe, who knows. Lucia Lopez does sound pretty cool. However, this theory kind of is just a bit of a guess. There's no real evidence for it. It's just a fun one, which is why I thought I'd put it last, because I know that some people are going to find it interesting and other people are going to think, what is he on about? That is absolutely insane. So yeah, I thought I'd shoehorn it in here just in case some of you found it interesting. Thank you very much, and I promise you I'm not crazy, I swear. Anyway, that's all the theories I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'm still new to this. I'm trying to be as exciting as I can, and also try not to sound very insane. I think I achieved that, so if I did, please let me know. Make sure to subscribe. I appreciate all the support, more than you can imagine. Go and follow my Twitter as well, because that's where I'm best known. And yeah, exciting things to come. Just a few more months until the game comes out, which is insane to say. So yeah, truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. Subscribe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.